for in Tetsu Bakshuada in Tetsu Enzo Agada Enzo Agada Bada 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 Yehio Dan Hoshi Be'atzenu Be'eretz Eretz Zion Zion Yerushalayim Titzu Titzu Enzo Agada Enzo Agada Bada 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 Lehiot Am Chofshi Be'atzenu Be'eretz Eretz Zion Zion Yerushalayim. Yeah, it is not a dream. If you will it, it is not a dream. And our last song tonight, I hope you'll sing with us. Oh yeah, Al Shlosha Devarim. Good one. There are three things that the world stands on. Is this right, Cantor?
You're so far so good.
Okay. Torah, prayer or work, and good deeds.
Yes, I know.
And
And
faith.
seen.
Right, here we go. Oh, she cracks me up. I'm sorry. I gotta, okay, compose. Okay. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ashlosha devarim. Ashlosha devarim. Ashlosha devarim. Haolam, haolam, omer. Ashlosha devarim. Ashlosha devarim. Ashlosha devarim. Ashlosha, Shosha devarim. Haolam, haolam, omer. Here they are. Al HaTorah, they al HaAvodah, they al Gemilut Hasadim. Al HaTorah, they al HaAvodah, they al Gemilut Hasadim. One more time. Al Shlosha devarim. Al Shlosha devarim. Shlosha devarim. Haolam, haolam, omer. Shlosha devarim. Shlosha devarim. Shlosha devarim. Haolam, haolam, omer. Yeah. Just in case you don't know, this is the most wonderful hammered up band right here to my left. We're minus a few people, but tell me they don't sound like a whole band.
They sound like a whole band.
Tell me. Best music this side of the Mississippi. Now I turn it over to you, Cantor.
Thank you. Barachim Habaim. Welcome to all of you who come in. Tonight we celebrate rest and joy, ever more sweetened in recognition of there she is, our beloved educator, Mandy Herlick. When Mandy walks into a room, she leads with passion and commitment, sharing her love and enthusiasm for Judaism with our students by honoring them and where they are in their journey. She lives Torah in her acts of chesed and gimilut chasadim. There is a tradition that when one is done with a shiur, which is a study session, a study module, how about that? It's a horrible way of putting it, but you get the idea. When one is learning oral Torah, a Kaddish de Rabbanan is said. Rabbi Kari Olinsky said, by reciting these words in the context of community, we acknowledge our relationship with those teachers and students who have come before us. For all those have taught these texts are present as we give voice to their words. And so, Mandy, like all great teachers, the eternal and the sacred exist duly in your work, and we are so grateful for it. How blessed we are to call you our own. Ruthie, turn it over to you.
May our teachers and their students and the students of the students, we ask for love and hoping over, and let us say amen. And for those who study Torah here and everywhere, may they be blessed with all they need, and let us say amen. We ask for peace, and loving kindness, and let us say amen. We ask for peace, and loving kindness, and let us say amen. We ask for peace, loving kindness, and let us say amen. We ask for peace and loving kindness, and let us say amen.
Just as you spread light, Mandy, we invite forward your family to kindle our Shabbos lights. I invite forward Mandy's parents, Debbie and Bob, and Mandy's husband. And I have to say a word about Dustin, Mandy's husband. Having Mandy is superb, and having Dustin is just as superb. We are so grateful for him. He is always there whenever we ask, and even sometimes before we ask.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu mitzvotzo b'tzivanu, lahadagner shel Shabbat.
All right. Well, this is where it's going to get super exciting. I invite you to rise physically or spiritually as we say Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei b'ri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu. Shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron le'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tehila le'mikra'ei kodesh, zecher le'tzion Mitzrayim, ki banu v'harta ve'otanu kirashta mikol ha'amim ve'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava u'v'ratzon hinatanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashavat L'chaim. All right, you're going to remain standing as we continue on with our Baruch Hu, and I'll let you know that our kindergarten and second grade, you're getting ready to Shema almost, and our sixth graders, the Ve'ahavta, will be coming right after that. All right.
And we're on page 13 of the Siddur. In case you've got one of our Emmanuel congregation Share Shabbat Siddurs, we're on page 13, and the Baruch Hu is toward the bottom. So we want to hear a rousing Baruch Hu, because all of our kids know this for sure. La 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 Ruthie, I know you're excited. Somebody talk me down. La 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 la. Thank you. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Thank you. La la la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la.
Isn't it cool to know that everybody makes mistakes on prayers sometimes, right? Everybody. All right, but not kindergarten and second grade. Come on up, kindergarten and second grade. And sixth grade, if you would stand right next to them up here, we'll continue with the Shema when everybody is up here. This is kindergarten. Kindergarten. Don't you wish we could applaud for the Shema? If we could applaud for the Shema, that would be an applaud-worthy Shema. You may all be seated. We're on page 14. בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אלוהים מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברתם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובחומך ובשרתם להיות על ידך והיו לתותחות בין עיניך וכתבת על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתיכם מארץ מצרים right. This is the time pre-COVID when we were dancing machines. And some of you may still feel like that would be okay. The back of the sanctuary is open just for you to do that if you feel like it and you feel comfortable doing so. I wouldn't say to do it around in a circle just because there are a lot of chords and that wouldn't be the safest choice. But I will say, after we're done singing this with gusto, my 3rd and 5th graders are going to come up for the Mi Chamocha. All right, Rue, I'm ready. And the women dancing with their chamber of fire, as she sang her song, singing a song to the one exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced all night long. And Miriam was a weaver of unique variety. The tapestry she wove was wonder, sang our history. With every strand and every thread she crafted her delight. A woman touched with spirit, she dances towards the light. Ow! And the women dancing with the timber followed me as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the when Miriam stood upon the shores and gazed across the sea, the wonder of this miracle she soon came to believe. Whoever thought the sea would part with an outstretched hand, and we would pass to freedom and march to the promised land. Yeah, yeah. And the women dancing with the timber followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. And Miriam the prophet took her timbrel in her hand, and all the women followed her just as she had planned. And Miriam raised her voice in song, she sang with praise and might. We've just lived through a miracle, we're gonna dance tonight. And the women dancing with the timber followed me as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. That was some good dancing.
That was some fine dancing.
3rd and 5th graders, we are so ready for you. Come on up and sing the Mi Chamocha, our freedom song. Beautiful. Yes, don't. All right. It is time for our standing prayers, which means we need our 7th and 8th graders. This is the heavy lifting. So come on up. I see you. Don't make me. Thank you, Bob.
Yeah, use the mic, baby.
We are on page 18.
Yes.
And we rise on page 18.
We'll continue our services, taking a moment to examine what's in our heart and what our souls need to say. You may, if you wish, be seated at any point.
Shalom Yisrael Tasim Leolam. Shalom Yisrael Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech gadol lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech gadol lechol hashalom. Shalom Yisrael amcha tasim leolam leolam. Yisrael amcha tasim leolam tasim leolam tasim leolam.
All right, everyone has to sing this out. I feel like the louder we sing it, the closer we get to it being true. May God, who makes peace in high places, make peace over all of us, over all the people that dwell on this earth. And let us say, Amen.
Oh, shalom.
We invite the education committee forward.
Oh, shalom.
I'd like to invite forward our educator, Mandy Herlick, and the president of our board of trustees, David Rakowski.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We come together as Jews of Emmanuel Congregation to install a leader. Adonai, this day, our congregation's education director stands before you. May her words always reflect commitment. May her deeds speak of loyalty and courage. May she earn your honor and respect. May she always remember that the labor of leadership for our congregation is a sacred labor. Humbly, we ask that you encourage our education director so that she will be strengthened while performing the sacred task of leading the educational path of this congregation. May she be mutually bound by faith and honor with our congregation. Mandy, this temple is your instrument for serving God by growing us in Torah, by preserving our heritage, by fulfilling our obligations to the Jewish people wherever they live, and helping all of God's children. May you be guided to uphold and strengthen this house of worship through study and service to the community. May God sustain you in your tasks, and may your actions be for a blessing to our children and our people. God, inspire Mandy. Inspire her to realize that there can be no greater calling than to serve you and your people through pedagogy and through the transmission of our ancient teachings, Lador Vador. Eternal, our God, we ask your blessing upon our educational leader. May your favor rest upon her. May she inspire us, not only within the confines of this sacred building and its classrooms, but also when our learners, young and old, go forth into the world. May the shared ideals of Judaism take root in their lives and in ours, and yield a rich harvest of deeds done in loving kindness. And we say, Amen.
Amen.
And we have a little something for you. Now, I know, because I've heard, that your house is like a museum of Judaica, past and present. So we decided this time not to go that route. But we also heard that you love things that sparkle. And so we hope you accept this sparkly gift as our gift to you on this day of your installment. You're welcome. Shabbat Shalom.
I'd like to invite forward Rabbi Ann Person, a dear friend of Mandy and an exceptional rabbi in her own right. Do you want her to move? You can put her wherever you want. Oh, are you rebutting first? Hold. No. You and then rebut.
I take it back. I go first. I'm good with that. Oh, good. I get to take all of your thunder. These microphones work fine. I'm good.
Yes.
Or should I use this? Both. I know I have a bottom of the vase. In this week's Torah portion, I have to be a rabbi about this. You understand, right? In this week's Torah portion, Tetzaveh, we are told to have a light that we tend to forevermore in every generation. And we often think of this light as God's presence amongst us. We call it the Ner Tamid, the eternal flame. But I don't know about you. Actually, I imagine you have you've been in the same situation as I have. Whenever I bring a group of any age people, children, adults, everything in between, to the sanctuary to talk about the sacred symbols in the sanctuary, and we talk about the Ner Tamid, I always get asked, what happens if the Ner Tamid goes out? Right? Educators, we get this question all the time. What happens when the Ner Tamid goes out? And I always say, don't worry. The congregation down the street, they've got us covered. When our Ner Tamid goes out, they'll have theirs on. And if at any moment their Ner Tamid goes out, it's okay. We've got them covered. And I once had a kid say to me, but what if there's a blackout in Chicago? And I said, Milwaukee's got us covered. It's okay. Or as I said in a drash earlier, Buenos Aires has us covered, and London has us covered, and Sydney has us covered, and Jerusalem has us covered. Because we have sanctuaries, because while once upon a time, as our Torah relates, we had one sanctuary, but now we have thousands of sanctuaries. And we don't have one light, but thousands upon thousands of lights. Well, that's really nice about God's presence, yay. But where do we fit into all of this? The text says, God doesn't make the light for us. We have a responsibility to press the olives into oil and tend to the light. It is our light to light. It is us as Jews, every time we come together, every time we make an effort, every time we learn something new, that we create the light of God in this world. Where would the Jewish community be without educators? We wouldn't know how to press the olives. We wouldn't know how to light the light. And Mandy, you are a light unto our nation. You teach us how to light the lights and how to keep them going. You embody this moment. You are the one who we can say, don't worry. If the light goes out, she's going to teach us how to relight it. You get us through that moment. You are the one who reminds us that God is with us. So in Pirkei Avot, what does it say? It says, there are lots of things that it says, but one of the things it says, make for yourself a teacher, acquire for yourself a friend, and don't be too judgmental. a number of years ago, you and I met. And not only did I get a great teacher to learn from and hang out with and bounce ideas off and educate together, so much fun. And not only you have this amazing way of, I love this about you. I wanted to mention this and I wasn't sure how to work it in, and now I'm figuring it out how. Have you ever seen Mandy's serious face? But not her mean face, but her like, I'm thinking face. It's this amazing face. And when she gets that I'm thinking face, she is open to every possibility. She is listening and caring and thinking to herself, you know what? This person has something to tell me, and it matters. It is one of the least judgmental faces I've ever seen. It's this beautiful moment of, I can learn something here, and I love that face of yours. You've taught me that, of just being able to stop your own judgment and just say, all right, I'm here to learn something. But most of all for me, you're my friend. Meeting you was definitely a moment of acquiring a friend. And I'm so glad that we could live that per camp out together. Mandy, a light to me, a light to your congregation. May you continue to be a light to all of us. Thank you.
So I just have to say how truly overwhelmed and grateful I am that you are all here. It's just so good to see all of your faces here on a Friday night and here tonight in particular. And I've like almost cried 23 times when you all have come up here to do your things. And I feel so proud. So thank you. I'm gonna take this off. In a mountain village in Europe, many centuries ago, there was a nobleman who wondered what legacy he might be able to leave for his townspeople. At last, he decided to build a synagogue. No one saw the plans for the building until it was finished. When the people came for the first time, they marveled at its beauty and completeness. But then someone asked, "Where are the lamps? How will it be lit?" The nobleman pointed to the brackets that were all throughout the synagogue on the walls. Then he gave each family a lamp, which they were to bring with them each time they came to the synagogue. Each time you're not here, that part of the synagogue will be unlit. This is to remind you that whenever you fail to come here, especially when the community needs you, some part of God's house will be dark. I am just re-entering this community after spending the last few days at a conference with a cohort of fellow educators, learning how to infuse experiential education into our community. The basis of this process rests on values. Along with my lamp, I am bringing with me the values of community and gratitude into this space today. Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs describes that in classical Hebrew, there are 3 different words for community: Edah, Tzibur, and Kehillah. They each signify different kinds of associations. The people who constitute an Edah have a strong sense of collective identity. They have witnessed the same things, they are bent on the same purpose. An Edah is a community of the like-minded. The word emphasizes strong identity. It is a group whose members have much in common. By contrast, a tzibur is a community in the minimalist sense, a mere aggregate formed by numbers rather than a sense of identity. A tzibur is a group whose members have nothing in common, except that they're at a certain point in the same place at the same time. A kehillah is different from the other 2 kinds of community. Its members are different from one another. In that sense, it's like a sibur. But they're orchestrated together for a collective undertaking. One that involves making a distinctive contribution. The beauty of a kehillah is that when it is driven by constructive purpose, it gathers together the distinct and separate contributions of many individuals so that each person can say, I helped make this. This, my friends, is a kehillah. We are a kehillah. We each contribute our gifts. We each help to make this place what it is each time we choose to show up and bring our lamps. We contribute, we help, we encourage, we support. I have intentionally chosen this kehillah as the place that I want to show up each day because of each of you. You are what makes this place what it is, and I am beyond grateful that you have chosen me to be someone that you can trust to lead and to educate here. A woman was walking one day and she came across a man who was working very hard. She asked him what he was doing and he said, I'm cutting these stones. She kept walking and came across someone else who looked like she was engaged in a similar task. She asked this person, what are you doing? The woman replied, I'm building a chapel. She kept walking and she came across one more person concentrating very hard on the task. She asked, what are you doing? He replied, I'm building a place for our community to pray and to learn and to celebrate. Each of us here and all of you out in Zoomland contributes to this community. We oversee important decisions by sitting on the board of trustees. We contribute our voices by joining committees. We attend classes and programs. We learn, we teach, we show up for one another. We are the builders of Emmanuel. I'm so grateful to be given the gift to do my part. Some days, I feel like I'm cutting stones. Some days, I feel like I'm building a chapel. Every day, I know that I am building a place of belonging, which inspires me to facilitate learning, to bring my lamp, and to share my light. Thank you so much.
May God bless you and keep you. May God's countenance shine upon you and bring you grace. And may just as God's light shines upon you, the light from God's face, may your light continue to shine upon Emmanuel congregation. May your light shine upon them, but even more, may you continue to teach them how to light their own lights. And may you be blessed with peace.
Hurting people whom we care about. And so instead of going around the entire group, would make the most beautiful of noises by, on the count of 3, saying the names together that you wish for us to think of for healing, I would be most grateful. 1, 2, oh, and Jerry, if you would read the names from ZoomTube as well. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Ishabera imotenu, Saru Abraham, Lifne Mako. Ishabera imotenu, Daravi Kalea Berachel. May one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well.
We are about to do a Lenu. Before we do that, I've just looked on my podium and I don't see a Kaddish list. More Devorah, if you happen to have one, thank you. While Maura is getting that, I invite you all to please rise for our Aleinu. Aleinu l'shapeach la'adol ha'kol 24. Tet gedula leotzer breshit. Shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot 24. Lo samanu kimishpachat ha'adama. Shelo samrakenu kahem legoralenu kehor ha'onam. Va'anachnu korim u'mishkachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. You may be seated. Our thoughts turn to those whom we have lost at this season in years past, those we have taken into our hearts with our own. Our congregation remembers Alex Arif, Mandel Benjamin, Norman Burmont, Julia Bloomberg, Hyman Bowler, Sandra K. Cantor, Albert Davis, Louis Eisner, Lisa Grunberg, Bronya Hamburger, Leda Hannon, Florence Hannon, Julius Hurst, Jack Kelvin, Stephen Klein, Francis Loeffler Lederer, Emma Sally Lowenthal, Val Paraskev, Josephine Pollock, Abraham N. Pritzker, Enos Brzezinski, Bernard Rothfeld, Max Rothfeld, Julius R. Sagi, Hilda Seligman, Deborah Scheffner, Edith Schlaze, Philip Sobel, Frida Sofian, Irma Weil, Louis Wolf, Edith Zackler, and in Shloshim, Mimi Harris and Gordon Murphy. Are there any omissions or mispronunciations? Thank you. I'd like to invite first to rise those who are in mourning, whose had a yard site that was just announced. And those, please, who wish to join them, please do that now. Page 25. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach yiruteh, Ve'amlich malchuteh, בחייכם וביומכם ובחיי לכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבא מבורך לעולם עלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרמה, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו amen. The source of peace, send peace to all of you who are bereaved among us, and let us all say amen. You may be seated. I'd like to invite forward Max Stein and all of our student body to please come forward as we get ready to sing One Day. Many thanks to our amazing Hammond Up Band and Ruthie Seidner, to Rabbi Ann Person, Dr. David Rakowski, members of our board and of our school board, and all of you who helped us to make Shabbat happen. Come on up here. All right, Maxie, you got it.
All right, hello, everybody. Oh, let me adjust this. All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Max. These are our students at Emmanuel, and we are going to be singing One Day. Sometimes I lay under the moon, I thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray, don't take me soon, 'cause I am here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will pray. One day, one day, one day. Oh, Yom Echad, Yom Echad, Yom Echad. Oh, it's not about win or lose, 'cause we all lose when they feed on the souls of the innocent. Blood-drenched pavement, keep on moving though the waters stay raging. In this maze, you can lose your way. It may drive you crazy, but don't let it phase you. No way, no way. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down, yeah. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will pray. One day, one day, one day. Oh, Yom Echad, Yom Echad, Yom Echad. Oh, one day this all will change. Treat people the same. Stop with the violence, down with the hate. One day we'll all be free and proud to be under the same sun, streaming songs of freedom like way up, way up, oh, oh, way up, way up, oh. One